Wow, look at us. Isn't that fantastic? I'm thrilled to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So, Peter, please tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, there's so much we can read about you, but I always love to get a brief introduction from the guests themselves, right? So, a bit of your professional and personal background. Who is Peter Krueger?
Yeah, so my background is actually, I'm a strategist by education, and I used to work in investment banking, so I combine strategy and with financing, and what I'm really looking for and what drives me is to create value. And value creation, often is associated with money, but it's more than that. It's also, of course, wealth. It's for people, it's for our employees, for our suppliers, for the whole ecosystem, and that drives me. And personally, I consider myself as a citizen of the world. Very open. I live in London. I'm married to a South African lady, so I like the international flavor.
Wonderful. Well, we are absolutely thrilled that you came to Berlin today, all the way from London. And you said it yourself, and I said in the introduction, you've been at the forefront of shaping what's happening at TUI in terms of global growth strategy, especially through mergers and acquisitions, right? So what's your vision for how TUI's hotels and cruises and activities business will evolve over the next 5 years? What can we expect there?
Yeah. So at TUI, I mean, we're a very different animal. So we are one of the only vertically integrated companies. So what it means is we have customers. We have 28 million customers globally. So that's the population of Australia. So basically every Australian inhabitant is booking a TUI holiday once a year for £1,000 going for a 1-week holiday. So it's a very sizable consumer reach that we have. We have own aircrafts. And then the model is very simple. We fly customers from non-sunshine countries to sunshine countries, right? So we are holiday specialists. So of course, Sun and Beach is a very important product. We will talk about more products in the future in a minute. But basically, we bring people from the north to south. So in the north, we have a great setup on airline, on distribution, in particular in Europe, but we're growing more also outside Europe now. And then in the south, we have a lot of hotels, we have cruises as destination, and we have tours and activities in the destination. So we have everything, and that's really unique because a lot of companies, they're either an airline or a distributor or an OTA or a hotel company or cruises, we're everything. And the big benefit is what we call vertical integration synergies is that we can develop new destinations from nothing, because all we need is a plot of land at a nice beach, and then we can start doing everything, building hotels, flying, selling, everything.
Right, okay, I mean, that's very impressive if you think about it. I think many people are not aware. I mean, yes. TUI is a household brand, yes. But how many people actually do understand the complexity of it, right? Yeah, and you mentioned yourself, there is growth planned, right? And TUI has set ambitious growth targets, expanding from 400 to 600 hotels. So what's driving this expansion? How do you identify the right markets, where to do that, and who's the right partner for the investments?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a huge change between now and before the COVID crisis. So what you can see now is actually, I mean, we have a very strong setup already today in the Caribbean. We are the largest bed stock owner in the Caribbean. A lot of people don't know, but nobody has more rooms under ownership in the Caribbean than our group. And the second big hub we have is around the Med Sea, of course. We, in Spain, we in Portugal, we in Turkey, we in Egypt, we in Northern Africa, Morocco, Tunisia. So we have two very big hubs. And what is very important for us now is to grow further on the southern hemisphere, right? Remember, Sun and Beach, south, so bring people from north to south. If I look at the south part of the world, Caribbean we have, Med we're growing now East and West Africa and in Asia. And what has really changed is that we, from a hotel perspective, we're operating more year-round destinations. So in the Caribbean, we have European guests, but we have a lot of guests from America and Canada, from the US and Canada. So our hotel business is already a lot more global than our traditional Northern European distribution business. Because you're right, a lot of people think of TUI, think of the next retail store on the corner, yes. Which we do, and which is our business, but we are so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm trying to keep up with that, but that's a job in itself.
Yeah.
Right, and we know the term asset-light strategy, right? And you've played a critical role in the asset-right strategy for TUI's hotel and cruise businesses. So how does this model give TUI a competitive edge in scaling up while remaining financially agile? But first, maybe what do you mean by asset-right?
It's a very good question because a lot of people ask me that. So the way I explain it is if you look at the global hotel market, city hotels is by far the biggest market and it's growing fast. We are leisure specialists. The leisure market is a niche sector of the global hotel market. And what you see in the city hotel market, these are very mature global markets. So you have property owners that have optimized, their investments from the property side, financing everything. And then you have operators, and they have optimized the hotel management. What we need in leisure is most often a combination of both, because it's not, this market is just emerging and being professionalized. So you have a lot of owners that own a hotel, often families, and they don't know how to run it optimal. They also don't have the economies of scale that a larger group can bring. So in other words, we basically, when I was studying in the US for a while, and I remember my professor's quote, he always said, great artists steal. This was a strategy session. So what he meant is, most of the big inventions in business were not own ideas, but taking ideas from somebody else, adapt it a bit and make it work. And we copy right now the city hotel strategy. So the big guys in the city hotel business, we have the same strategy now where we basically say, okay, we go to third-party owners, we offer them professional IT systems, integrated distribution, professional hotel management, and most important, our brands, because our brands are very differentiated and a lot of people want to come back to our hotels year over year. So this customer loyalty and customer retention is very, very important. And therefore, we have a lot to offer. And to your question, asset-right means we need to have a tailored solution on a hotel-by-hotel basis. So every situation is different. If we talk about 1,000-room hotel in Cancun, it's a different situation to like a small mom-and-pop hotel in Cape Verde. So these are completely different markets, and that's our strategy. That's why our strategy looks at the individual hotel basis, and we take decisions on every hotel basis, what is the best strategy.
Right, yeah, it's very impressive. And TUI has been innovating beyond traditional hotels, as we just heard, you're on the way with that, with mobile beach clubs and unique experience-led concepts. How does TUI think about differentiation in an increasingly competitive market? I mean, there's so many brands out there, such a big offering. I mean, how do you stand out?
Again, we follow by best proven strategy. So there's one big car manufacturer in Germany, it's Bosch. So they do a lot of car manufacturing, but they also do power tools, right? So the Bosch power tools are very well known. And Bosch has a big problem because every tool they invent is copied by the Chinese producers, and then they come to the market. And the only way to compete with the Chinese long-term is innovation. So that's why if you look at Bosch, they stand for innovation. We do the same. So in other words, we have to always be one step ahead of competition, because ultimately in a hotel business, people can copy us, right? They come to a hotel, they see a cool feature, and next time you see it next year in the hotel next door, right? So it's very important for us to always come with something new. That's why we have a very strong product development team where we really put a lot of effort and resources into innovation. And I'm really proud that we come up every year with something new, something cool that people like. And I also like to see it being copied later, because then I know it was a really successful
invention. It's a compliment, right? Yeah, if you copy it and you're doing something right. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I like that. And I mean, we've had that in any other session across the convention. I'm pretty sure there was not a single session where we didn't touch on AI and personalization, right? What's your take? It is shaping travel experiences for sure. How is TUI leveraging data and technology to enhance the customer experiences across all your...
we do a lot. I mean, it's a really big topic for us as well. So, I mean, if you think about in the first place, we have a lot of customer data. I mean, we have 30 million customers, so and we deliberately want to collect as many data as possible. So when you board our aircraft, but also if you buy something in the aircraft, when you come to the hotel, so we have a lot of customer data in the cloud, and now it's all about finding the right algorithms to find out what is really the next best activity for this customer. So it will help us to come from a standard product to a super individualized product. But it's a long journey, right? I mean, the pace of innovation is very, very fast, which is very good. And there will be a lot of disruption in the business, not only for us, but also for other businesses. But we're investing a lot of money and resources also to be on top of the trend. Yeah.
Right, okay, I see. And then Musement, the Italian startup acquired by TUI, speaking of mergers, acquisitions, is now central to your experience activities business. What lessons have you learned integrating a startup like that?
Yeah, I mean, Musement is very strategic and important for us because Musement is similar to Wait and Get Your Guide. We're selling experiences, right? So these can be tours, concert tickets. We have lately now signed a cooperation with a smaller company where we have things to do for locals. So that's also a new thing for us, which is very important because it keeps our customers engaged, and we have customer frequency throughout the year because a lot of our customers, they go on a TUI holiday once or twice a year.
Right.
But we have so much more products to offer now to our customers, also things to do at home. So immersive experiences. So in a nutshell, experiences is super, super important because we see that our customers, they don't want to go for 2 weeks to a sun and beach hotel and lay on the beach. They want to go out and experience things, have experiences. That's what we call the new luxury. And that's why by owning and having these experiences in a digital form, we can now blend it in. So we can create packages that are very personalized. And if you like to hike, then the next holiday in Crete, we don't sell you as 2 weeks sun and beach Crete. We say go on an adventure trip in Crete. You walk the Samaria Gorge, next day you do bungee jumping, third day you do canoeing. And then, by the way, as a side product, you're staying at a very nice sun and beach hotel. And by the way, you're flying on the same aircraft as before. It's just how we sell the product is different. So the experience will become the attraction for the customer to book, no longer just the beach. There's still a big amount of customers, they want to have a beach holiday, we can offer it, but I can tailor you the same product with this additional ingredient without any effort.
Right. So it's just also a lot of more options for the consumer in the end, and they still stick with TUI throughout the entire journey. And,
and that's why we talk about at TUI now, we want to transform into a marketplace. So what people associate with TUI today is exactly that, 2 weeks sun and beach, summer holiday or Easter and autumn holiday. But what we want to be known for in 5 years' time or in the next couple of years is really that you can come to us also for the weekend city break, for the immersive experience in your home location, for sightseeing, for maybe further down the road, theater tickets, restaurants, reservations. I mean, anything that is related to leisure. I don't want to sell, pet food because that's not our customer base, but anything that is related to leisure, we should have a lot more products for our customers so that people think more of TUI for their daily lives rather than once a year. And that is a very important push for us strategically, and it comes with the experience product portfolio that we have. And that's why we call it a curated marketplace. We want to offer a vast majority of products, but they all should be high quality. We don't want to offer our customers any long tail that we don't control, but self-controlled products. And that ring-fence us a little bit from competition because at the end of the day, we had a quick chat before the session, and I said to you, there's so many tech companies now at the fair. It's actually a good observation from one of my dear colleagues, the CEO of our hotel business. And it's true, right? So the whole industry is changing towards tech, but at the end of the day, you can have the best tech stack that you have, but you need a bed and a beach if you want to have a beach holiday. And that's why we very much focus on the product in the destination, and that's a very important focus for us as well, to differentiate from others.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense, and it's super interesting to hear that this is the new strategy. And sustainability has been talked about a lot, right? And it's becoming a key pillar for many businesses worldwide. So how does TUI balance expansion? So we talk about growth and all of these things with responsible tourism, particularly in hotels and cruise.
I mean, sustainability is for us super, super important. I mean, I see it more as a product differentiator. And what I love about sustainability, it's very, very good business cases. So I give you an example. We have now in Turkey, we have our own solar plants. So we have solar fields, and these are the plot of land belongs to us, the solar panels belong to us. And what we do is we produce energy in the Antalya Mountains. So these are mountain plots, and we put the energy from the solar production into the grid, and we take it from the grid at the hotels in Antalya, where we have in Dalaman, where we have huge clusters. So we're producing our own energy. And the interesting thing is, this investment has a payback of 4 to 5 years. So it's super profitable, because the energy in Turkey is so much more expensive than the solar production we have. So I'm sometimes joking internally to say, and then I say, let's stop the tourism business, let's only do solar investments, because these are such high returns, but obviously it's related. But there's very, very good use cases for us where we do something good for the environment, where we get sustainability credit, and where we do make more money. And this is a really good combination. And this is very different, for example, in city hotels, completely different, because in most of the destinations, another example is the Maldives, the energy production in Maldives is based on diesel. So they're burning fuel every single day to create energy. And the prices, to get the fuel there, the price for the fuel is very high. So you pay 25 cents per kilowatt hour. Solar production is 6 cents. So immediately strong business case. But if you have a hotel in Paris where there's nuclear power production at 1 cent, then of course the business case looks worse. Yeah. So our advantage is really that we present in destinations where we have a lot of sun. Most of the time we have a lot of wind, and all we need to do is work with the governments in the destinations much more closer to push them, because we see a lot of protection from governments for old way of energy production. But this is the biggest barrier for us, but we super clear on our ESG strategy. And the only thing I would like to add is also, as you asked me about new hotels, what I really like about the hotel business personally is we bring a lot of, we enable the wealth transfer from north to south. And typically, if you look at the globe, the northern hemisphere is more the wealthy, richer countries, and the more suffering, emerging countries are in the south of our world. And what I really like about is, by bringing tourists, by bringing money, by bringing infrastructure, investing in the destinations, we do a lot of good for people in the destination. And we have our TUI Care Foundation, so we always say tourism is a force for good. And I really see it, because if you go to places like Cape Verde, there was nothing. Now you see that people start to have money, there's infrastructure, there's more schools, there's education, and that really makes me proud that we can be part of it. And it's part of our duty, to be honest. As I said before, we want to create value, and value is not only money. Money is also important, but there's other values as well.
Right, but it's always helpful if there's economic benefit, so you can drive it even faster, right?
Absolutely.
And have the results. Yeah, I love that. Well, I don't want to go back to the pandemic, right? But we have been in a massive crisis. I'm sure TUI was shaken by that also heavily. Yeah. But for you as a leader, I mean, you're overseeing huge teams. Is there any particular leadership lessons you took away from that really hardship time that we had?
I mean, the pandemic was a great challenge for us, because if you think about it, I mean, we have 130 aircrafts. We have now, including the pipeline, 500 hotels. We have 18 cruise ships. And the cruise ships we have is a 1 billion euro investment per ship. So these are really big investments that we have. And if we have a huge asset base, and if we cannot fly and bring customers, then obviously this is a very big challenge for our business, right? What I would say on the positive side is asset ownership also proved to be a good strategy in the pandemic, because we had assets, we had governments and banks helping us and giving money to bridge the situation.
Right.
If we wouldn't have had any assets, it would have been a lot harder, right? So asset ownership is because you have a value that you can attach to the loans. It's a very important point. And the other interesting thing that I took away is the hotel business was very resilient. I was super surprised. So I give you an example. We have hotels in Morocco, in Agadir, and typically we have a fair share of European guests coming to Agadir. Now, in the pandemic, they couldn't fly. So the hotel still had a very good occupancy, and we were asking why. And the reason was that locals were coming to do holidays inland, like what we've seen in Germany, right? So people went to the North Coast and did the holidays inland. So there was still appetite during the pandemic for holidays, people couldn't fly out, so they stayed in the country. And that made the hotel business very resilient. So these are the two takeaways for me: asset ownership and the resilience of a leisure hotel business with inland demand as a substitute. I found very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's. I mean, you always have some good learnings from periods like that, right? Although they have been hard, but good. We passed this. This is good. So you have a strong history of strategic mergers and acquisition, obviously, right? This is. So do you see further acquisitions or partnerships playing a role in future expansion? Will this be continuously being the way to go?
Yeah.
And if so, is there particular areas you're looking at where you're very excited about?
I mean, for sure it will, right? I mean, so we're very strategic about what we do. So I give you an example because you talked about Musement earlier as an M&A example. And the way we look at it is first we need to understand what problem are we trying to solve exactly, right? So it needs to be exactly. So at Musement, we had other opportunities where we could buy businesses for a lot more money, but all we needed was a digital system to connect our product offering in the destination with our source market. So we went for a very cheap solution, a business that was a startup business. They had a great tech platform, but no business, no customers, because it's hard to build a new customer base. And I didn't want to pay for customers because we have customers. I didn't want to pay for a brand because we had a brand. All I wanted to pay for was an IT system. And that's the make or break in any M&A deal. First, you have to really be clear what problem are you trying to solve and what situation you want to improve, what are the synergies attached to it, and this is how we go about it. But there will be for sure areas there are some areas on our agenda where I think organic can do a lot, but maybe inorganic could also be an accelerator.
And is there one particular area you're super excited about? You can't wait to...
I won't be any more specific.
You can. Okay, right. Well, I keep watching, so then I probably learn in the near future.
Thank you.
Right, we're almost out of time. I would just probably collect your final note or recommendation to the industry. Is there one trend you say everyone really has to look into and watch for the coming years? Is there one that you could share and say?
Yeah, I think, I mean, overall, if I look forward, I mean, in strategy, we're trying to predict 5 to 10 years. So we're looking at the question, how can we position ourselves for the midterm, not for the short term. And I think midterm, my sense is that the whole world of travel will be a lot more entertainment driven, right? So experience and entertainment driven. So experience is what we see now. I think the next iteration could be towards entertainment. And I'm not talking about, a second Las Vegas only. Could be, and there's some interesting concepts in some very interesting countries with very interesting plans. But I think the whole topic of entertainment is becoming more and more important. And then it blends into AI, maybe virtual reality one day could also be. So why can you not travel, on your couch on a rainy Sunday to a nice place and learn about new cultures, new people, a destination? So there's a lot coming, I think.
It's very exciting. Well, we watch the space, right? A lot to expect from TUI, and I connect leisure is absolutely where you go to for TUI, right? Thank you so much. Peter Krueger from TUI. Thank you. It was great to have you. And I say back to Katie.